Yeah.
Meeting
We're all,
is virtual.
Okay. So can you hear us, Jeanette?
Yep.
Yep.
So should we call the meeting to?
Yes.
Yep. Chris, are you facilitating the meeting because I have to leave early?
I can do that, or, Jim, I guess I can do it.
Okay.
But I'm also taking minutes, so if, I would prefer somebody
I'll do
else
it.
to do it.
Come on, I
Because it's a little,
just have to pull up the
I
agenda.
won't be. Okay, so the time is
5:41.
41.
41.
You need the agenda?
Yeah, I just need the password to the internet because for some reason it took me on Firehouse 1904.
Yeah.
Okay, call to order. Meeting's been called to order. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
I had a typo of my name way at the bottom, but it's no big deal. But I thought I would let you all know.
On the agenda or in the previous?
Oh, on the
minutes?
agenda, sorry, I'm already skipping to the minutes. I apologize.
All
No,
right,
no adjustments.
okay. The first agenda item is the communication agreement and mission statement reading. Would someone be willing to do that?
I can read it if you give me a copy of it. Okay. So mission statement is to connect people to the place in ways that allow recreation, exploration, collaboration, and stewardship at the cow pasture. We affirm pursuing stewardship at the cow pasture has many dimensions, including the positive group process. Thus, we adopt the following agreements for all forms of communication: verbal, written, email, etc. We value what each person has to offer. Please come prepared to participate fully. All relevant ideas are welcome. Pursuit of ideas will be based on feasibility and support of the group. Only present ideas that you are willing to carry forward personally. Consensus agreement will be sought. Only block consensus when you cannot live with a decision going forward. Seek first to understand and then respond with kindness and respect. Observe the 3 C's. Keep contributions concise, constructive, and connected to the group's purpose. Share the floor and be open to responses, even if you disagree.
Thank you, Mark.
One adjustment to the agenda, if we could go back to just give Greg, he has to leave at 6 to a quick update
Sure.
on the snow bees.
Yeah, please, thank you.
That's great, yeah. So do you want to approve the minutes and then do that?
Sure.
Okay, so the next would be the approval of the minutes from the November 21st, 2024 meeting. Does anybody have any changes to?
Spelling out the name. Sorry.
Jeanette's name was misspelled.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes from November 21st are approved with that name fix. The next thing on the agenda would be the Ursa Grant Subcommittee update, but we'll do this, let Greg do the snow bees update first. The other one will probably take a little while.
So, a few minutes. We're waiting for snow.
Yeah,
We don't have enough snow yet, so until we get enough snow, you won't see the groomer going down through there. It does require a substantial amount of snow to get over those water bars with the stones sticking up. And we don't even have enough snow yet to leave the building, let alone go anywhere, so.
yeah.
The kind of snow that we're looking for is, wet, heavy snow that has consistency. We had that, but we lost it.
Yeah.
So we're starting from scratch, and all there is for snow on the ground right now is just fluffy powder that doesn't support anything. So if we were to go out anywhere, it would cause more damage than we would do good. So until we get snow, we can't go down there. Mark Cote, who was on this committee, has agreed to put the signs up this year. He's in the process of moving to a new house. So he agreed to put them up because he knows where everything goes. And then I'll find a new volunteer that will take them down at the end of our season, so that they know where they go next season. So in the event that he is unable to do that, I have a backup person that will go down and do it. Our trail master.
Great.
So it will get done, when we get down.
Can I ask a
Uh,
quick question? I'm just curious, are there any Bass trails open yet, or are things across the whole state closed right now?
Body,
Body.
Mass
Northeast
does
Pinto.
have an active, proactive map, you can go on and see,
Yeah.
and they update them as they open.
Yep.
Our trails, Snowbees has 0 trails open because
Okay.
there's not enough snow this year. There are some areas with higher elevation that have trails open, Groton is an example.
Gotcha.
You can ride up there, but you're restricted to just that area.
Yeah.
We're just hoping for more snow.
Mhm.
So, the permission form was turned into the city for the use of the property. It's a vast permission form. I don't know if Chris is familiar with it. It's something we do with all landowners every year. Nick presented it to the city council. It was approved and signed and returned to us, so we're all good there. Unless you have any questions, we're just waiting for snow. I don't know if there's any brush or trees down that are gonna affect the groomer. We haven't been down through, but they typically, the first time they go through, they bring, a chainsaw or something. If there's a tree down or a limb that's hanging, it's gonna damage the groomer. But
I
I
was
don't
out there
expect-
earlier this week and I didn't see anything.
Yeah, so they should be able to get through. We went through there 2 years ago and fixed it up. Probably is okay for another year, I'm guessing, but we'll see. So just waiting for snow.
Is this about, what's the normal time of year to have that trail running? Is this,
Well, vast permission form, coincides with the insurance policy. Vast has liability and all that stuff. That's why you sign the permission form, to be an additional insured. No landowner can be sued in the state of Vermont because of Title 3401, title chapter, whatever, but.
Yeah.
However, Vast has an additional $1 million policy that, when you sign the permission form, it's your umbrella, additional insured, whatever. So the city's covered there. That goes from December 15th to April 15th. Give or take a day or two in accordance with hunting season.
Yeah.
We can't go on the trails until hunting is officially done, but it's generally around December 15th
okay,
and April 15th. So even if we had snow in the spring, April 15th is the last day that we can groom. And the last day that people are supposed to ride. But if there's snow, they might go out, that's it.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's really helpful to know. So April 15th because of the insurance.
Yeah.
Information. Thanks.
Welcome. And anytime you have any question relating to any vast issue, I'll try and answer it. I've been on the vast board multiple times as a director since 2001, I think it was. Even the LVRT, I've mentioned that here before too. I was the original
the Memorial Valley Rail
endorser
Trail,
of the LVRT. Yeah, I was the original on the board that originally approved
that's great.
the vast undertaking of the LVRT, which they made it for 10 years, but for certain reasons we won't get into tonight.
Yep.
The state ended up taking it over and it's a wonderful project. It's the longest
It's really cool.
recreational trail in New England.
Yeah.
Multi-use
It's a
trail.
great trail, yeah. Are they running snowmobiles on that up around Jones Pond now?
Yeah,
or-
it's open up around the Danville,
Yep.
Walden area. I don't know about Hardwick.
Okay. And what about down into St. J? Is that section that was closed earlier, is that open again?
There's a way around it. It's right at the Route 2. You know where Joe's Pond store is, the
Yep.
intersection of 15?
Yep.
And then, the trail crosses there.
Yep.
Just in that trail, maybe a quarter mile is a gigantic washout. Monstrous amount of earth was washed away. So they're coming down temporary on the road and the town has agreed to only plow one side of the road because there's only like 3 or 4 residents on that road.
Okay,
And the trail's gonna go on the road around the washout and then hop back up on. That was open this summer for bikers, hikers and everybody, but the town has agreed to allow it for snowmobile traffic this winter. And it is on the agenda to be fixed next summer V-Trans is putting in a box culvert. And then
Nice.
they'll refill it.
So I can hear.
Good deal. Thanks.
Thanks for the update.
Welcome.
Yeah, I should welcome you to the committee, because this is really the first
It is.
meeting that you've been here, so welcome.
Yeah, I had a few questions at the hearing. I felt like I was at the hearing for the president's thing or something. And I got in there, vote 4-3, 3 were against, but, for reasons, whatever, we talked and I'm here to help, like I said, with any snowmobile related issues. But I can't necessarily commit to your summertime projects. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah, yes, so, yeah, it's been a while, you came to one or in the summer, so it's really, this is really the first,
Yeah,
official meeting. So
Official, it's first one officially for me, yes.
Yeah.
I try to make all meetings, I do for all the committees that I'm on throughout organizations that I'm involved with. Unfortunately, today's my birthday and my grandkids are calling at about 6:15, so I kinda wanna be there.
Yeah.
Birthday.
And,
Thank you. I had a brand new grandchild born last Tuesday, so
Oh.
Congrats.
first grandson, so a new branch in the family,
yeah,
as far as the name goes.
yeah, so welcome to, you can stay until you,
I'm gonna stay
You'll
till
come
6, and
Okay.
I need to leave.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next thing is the URSA grant subcommittee updates, which involve finalizing trail routes, names and signage.
And so I put the map up here, we had, do you want to, go ahead and, since you're managing the meeting, I
Sure.
won't jump in.
Oh,
You can tell me.
You're welcome
Quiet.
to. The subcommittee met Tuesday night and we spent some time reviewing the trail names that we had talked about previously and kind of finalizing that a little bit. We did have one, I believe, we still were looking for a name for. Did we-
Yeah, we came up with one, but
Okay.
we could be open for suggestions,
Yeah.
so it would be great if we can like approve this tonight, the trail, the routes. And the
Yes,
names, and, we talked about, the signs where they would, the
Yeah.
kiosk signs.
placement.
So it'd be great to, as a committee, get approval for that, and it's kind of I think I accurately depicted what has been discussed, and, we have the names mostly, but there was one that, I don't think that we had named, so maybe.
And
we
I
could,
actually feel like I should just let you know that we had received a grant to do some trail work and some property acquisition. We
Cool.
acquired some land to expand the size of the cow pasture. And then we also had money given to us to build a new trail and a bridge. I don't know if you've walked that trail, but
Yep, I certainly
yep,
have.
so that came from a state. I'll call it an URSA grant, because I can't educate, I don't remember what it stands for.
I should, it's
Yeah,
an enhancement, right?
Yeah, recreation enhancement type of project. So the money that we were given, the trail builder completed the trail, but they're also still gonna be making some new signage for us, updating maps, and we're gonna be naming some of the signs, so that instead of just walking up the cow pasture and everything's just kind of a maze and not marked, there'll actually be defined loops and some more maps put up throughout the trail network.
So do we want to,
Sure.
and I don't know. And you make sure that I got this all right, I read that, yeah.
Best way to look at it, would it be better?
I was wondering if the.
Yeah, put it on at the end of the table, maybe?
You can circle up or
Put it
something.
down at the end, maybe.
Yeah.
I think what we ended up deciding on was, yes, there's Chris's handwritten legend.
Old school.
What we were gonna do was
I
make
got to use my Sharpie.
this one main loop. Sorry for the people on the screen, you can't see anything right now, but.
That's okay.
The cow pasture loop was gonna be this main loop. This includes this new trail that was built. And it's gonna go up onto the meadow trail, up to this junction. And then work its way back along the rock wall line there on the property boundary to the well. That's gonna stay cow pasture loop all the way through there to this junction that goes up towards the parent property. And then it's gonna loop back down along this, I think it was the BYCC built those switchbacks to that junction. So that's gonna be the main loop, and we're just gonna call it cow pasture loop. That's sort of where we're gonna try to point people towards, and then there's the other side trails, which we came up with names for also. This one, that's the work road, is we were going to go with Wolf Tree because of the large wolf tree that's in that area. This is M41 is the one that comes up from the cemetery, and the city has gone in and made that passable by, I'm guessing, small vehicles. I don't think it's big enough for,
Oh, you could get a truck.
you could get a truck up there. And we were just gonna go with service road for that one. We didn't necessarily want to make that. We didn't want to encourage that as a main trail. Because then we're afraid that people are gonna start parking down there, and it's not really a safe spot to park and cross the road in that area. So that is an access point, but we're gonna just call it service road. So that it's, because it is mainly a service road for a brush hog to get up and take care of the meadow. The other one is this green one. The green dashes on the outside here. We're gonna go with Owl Trail in that general area.
Jim, can I interrupt for a second?
Of course.
I think that the owl one was the one that we wanted to check with folks who are familiar with that trail to see if owl is appropriate, because the owls live up in more in the
Yeah.
meadow there. So that one was up for probably debate. Another natural feature or animal that we know lives there could be another contender too. So whoever knows that trail well and has seen animals.
Thrush.
I know that trail.
I've
pretty
seen
well.
an owl on that trail.
Have you? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm on that trail.
Yes.
Is it a habitat for hermit?
I hear hermit thrush there a lot.
Oh, nice, nice. And they only have, the red pine, but I like the owl idea or the thrush, either one of those.
And the number of letters, I think, was, I don't,
Sign size.
yeah.
So do you want to stay with Owl on it, or? Does anyone feel
I'm fine
strongly?
with that, yeah.
Okay. What's left? This was gonna be Ridgeline Trail. This is coming up from Duffy Avenue.
That's Ridgeline.
Ridgeline. This is,
That's S3.
is S3, yes, which I believe there's still some work going on to try to figure out the.
Yeah, we're
landowner
still
permission.
waiting to hear
Waiting.
from, yeah.
Yeah, when I went to text you, I saw that the city had said that you wouldn't get anything back about that until after Christmas time, after the holidays,
Correct.
so you're still waiting on that.
Still waiting.
Yeah,
And I
and
just gave my update.
Sorry.
I just saw that Amanda was on the meeting, and that, Amanda, that might be something that you could help us move forward. It's very important that we get the city attorney's wording and on the agreement, the landowner agreement form for access. The person doing the trail assessment refuses to put any trail or include that area on any of our maps until there's a landowner permission form in
Because it
place.
crosses private property.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So,
Okay.
yes.
I'll follow up on that, Chris, and I'll connect with you separately about moving that forward.
So, thanks.
Can you hear me
Yeah.
okay? Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. Thank you very much.
and this section here, these Ford parcels, this was recently acquired by the city also and is now part of cow pasture, and we're gonna call this a crow trail. The crow trail, because the crows they roost up there occasionally. The other thing to talk about, everyone's good with the trail names, was these, Chris, I like how you did the black stars. The black stars with the orange outlines was where we were thinking about putting, posts with maps on them. So it'd be signage, basically, for people to orient themselves when they're in the cow pasture. We wouldn't necessarily put them right on the road. They'd probably be a little bit up into the trail system a little bit, but it would at least sort of define and almost in a way like claim that trail area and also orient people. So there'd be one at the Duffy Ave trail entrance, one on, I don't remember what the name is.
Mead.
That's Mead.
Will meets the paper street, yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
so it'll be that, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know,
Up on
it's the driveways right there.
Yeah, we're gonna, have to work through that one. But we were thinking it would actually be up in the woods a little bit past the driveway.
Under the sign.
One out here, since we should probably have one somewhere out in the back end of the cow pasture, so we have that junction. Somewhere, we'll have to probably go out and look at it and see exactly where we want to put it, so it's useful for people on the cow pasture loop and on the Powell Trail. One at this junction, just before you hit the meadow. One here where there's currently a sign, and then this is the main kiosk that's gonna also get an updated map.
Can I ask a question on
course.
the back on the name thing?
Mhm.
I know I'm late into the process, but I had made the suggestion, is it possible to have Snowbees, the club, a name on one of the trails? We've been there since 1967, officially, prior unofficially. But I came up with the name Snowbee Meadows, and it's kind of in line with everything. I mean, bees are there and meadows, and it'd be nice to honor, the original trail maintenance group that took care of that for all those years before it became officially the city cow pasture. I don't know if that's possible, no hurt feelings if it isn't, but it has history. It'd be nice to include that history somehow.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, I
saying,
mean, if we had gone with historical names, we could have done, there used to be an old golf course there, so we could have gone like the golf course trail, the Walden Spring Trail, things like that. And I'm not speaking for anyone else in the committee, I'm just saying, in my mind, we really wanna maintain the consistency of the trail names to be.
Well, looking at the names, I mean, you're using natural animals and stuff.
Right,
Just
right.
bees are, and it coincides with the club, and I don't know, it was just a suggestion. I think it would be nice if you did.
Yeah,
The other thing, and you can make a motion just to, as to whether we want to consider that. But having done these routes out, before it used to be the main route was the Bass Trail route. And one of the goals of obtaining this grant was actually to try to get people off the Bass Trail, because one winter in particular, there was a lot of complaints, and so part of the grant was to get people off the trail and create this other trail. So now, it was decided as the group everyone wanted a kind of a big loop that most people walk, which used to be, kind of the vast trail. So
Vast
now,
trail is the dotted lines, right?
Mhm.
yeah, and here
Does that have a
and
name?
here. Yeah, that's
That's the
the
wolf
wolf trail. That's because of that great big wolf tree. That's on the side of the trail there.
once
Yeah.
you pass the creek, you go up the hills,
Yeah.
right?
Well, Snowbee Meadows, I mean,
If you want to make a motion
natural.
to, and I guess that might be like a fair way to,
Yeah, it can be voted on, it's up or down. That's how you do it.
I just wonder if there are. If there are other ways to honor the history of the snow bees and their participation in this.
Well, I think the club, I've attended meetings and I've mentioned it to them and they're very receptive. They said, that'd be really nice if they could. Told them I would try.
Yeah,
I can't guarantee anything. It's not my thing. I'm just one member.
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I think it would be appropriate, be nice, and it is fitting with the theme. The theme is animals and, crow, owl, wolf, bees.
Yeah, I feel like it does take into consideration a less natural aspect of things too.
Well,
As far as
I'll
the
just
snow
throw a
on the side
motion
of it.
out. I make a motion, we consider that name or something similar. And if it gets a second, we have discussion. If we don't, we don't.
okay.
That's me.
We're looking for a second.
Greg made a motion to consider a snow bees related name for the trail. Does anyone second that? No. Second,
Well, I feel like.
We have to have a second to have discussion.
Okay,
We do.
that's the thing. Okay, I think I said what I wanted to say before then. Okay.
so, no,
Okay.
So. So then we have to say all in favor.
No.
No.
because
No, because it didn't move.
I'm still figuring this out myself, but I don't think we have to vote because it wasn't seconded.
Yeah,
I do think it's nice that we do have right at the entrance, right, as you walk in on the bench, that plaque, you know, an agreement. So I do really feel like the committee has honored, you know, the snow bees or recognized them by allowing that. It's kind of a precious spot on that kiosk and the bench, and you have kind of a nice front and center.
That signs a gesture, of we share our trails.
Mhm.
It's the handshake,
Yep,
Yeah.
we care, we share.
yep, yeah, no, it's a nice, nice sign, and so I think that we have already acknowledged the snow bees in having put that there,
Alright, well,
so.
we're disappointed, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah, we've been working on this for some time now, for a long time. So.
Well, I just wanna let you know that I gotta go, I'm not leaving because of that.
I know.
I do have to cut out, I'm not,
Phone call too.
So-
yeah, I gotta get home.
You're not stomping out.
They'll call back, but if I show up at 7, well,
No,
I'm
no.
not gonna get a happy
birthday.
birthday song.
Happy birthday. I just for the record, Chris, you, for the minutes, you need to, you were probably already doing this, but just so you know, document that Greg made the motion and that it was a failed motion. And also we should probably do a motion for the trail names as proposed as well.
Yes,
Okay,
Yeah.
you were probably
Yeah.
already gonna do that, but I just wanna.
yeah, and I noted that Greg is leaving at 6:07.
Thanks, everyone, good night.
Yeah, happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Take care.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
With the trail names, and also can we go ahead and do it all with the location of the signs? Does anyone have any input?
Yeah, we'd be interested in input if either of you, I mean, Chris and I and Jeanette have spent a lot of time trying to figure out where to put signs. If there's other ideas about signage, that would be great. I think was it 4 signs that we were allotted, and we're gonna actually do 5 at this point, so.
No, there was, actually only 3
there's
signs
5.
with
There's 5 and
maps.
then the kiosk, so.
So we are above budget on, so we'll have to, come up with the extra money for the other one, but we
Additional
wanted to, you know, we couldn't, you know, just spreading them out, I think that they, you know, I think we have to go with. Originally, there was one here, and I forget where, I couldn't come up where the third one was. This one actually got knocked down by the groomer, and this one's still there. And I think the other one was, I don't know where the other one was.
Yeah, you've done trail work and have a pretty good idea about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I like the location of those actually.
Okay.
You know, I'm not sure, well,
Yeah,
this one gets a lot of use. I have no idea about the amount of use of this location, but, you know, again, I was out there earlier this week. And you can really see the foot traffic coming
Yeah.
up this way, so that's appropriate. That one, I think it's good for different reasons, you know, to have that there, just because to claim that is city, you know, property, so it may not get that much, you know, use from the public at this point. But I think that's a good beginning.
Yeah,
personally.
and I think Mike and I, oriented Zach, originally and showed him where the paper streets were, and he had some ideas on how to kind of approach the landowners and, you know, and work at kind of signing that, because it really is a nice, if people are walking and we want to get people on the trails as quickly as possible, if they're walking, they could jump on here and be in the pasture rather than walking
Oh,
up.
exactly.
So it's a
Yeah.
goal, and I think that's for this, that your advisory group would be a good project to discuss that coming up, and I can share with you the ideas that Zach had
Okay, yeah.
on kind of claiming that.
Yeah, that would be
area.
great. Yeah, we haven't had a meeting in a while, so.
I also feel like this it would be acceptable for it to get a lot more use now, just because this is actually cow pasture, like city property, whereas before that was a private access.
Yeah.
Right.
That dirt driveway that comes out onto Burns Avenue or
It's not Burns, it's,
It's
it's a
It's
brother.
Johnson,
Johnson, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and it's not, you don't see it, it's actually a paper street, a city-owned
It's like a
paper street. and
Driveway.
It's a
basically.
driveway, like the house on.
There's a
the
condo there, right? Is it the condo driveway?
No,
Okay.
No.
Got it.
it's a
Single.
corner house, which is an apartment building, and they're using it as like a driveway,
Yeah,
so it
it's a
doesn't
city
even.
property.
oh yeah, I know where you're talking about.
Yeah, and then there's a small little house on the right,
So
so,
it's a great access and it just kind of goes straight up to the ridge there,
Yeah, it does feel like you're walking into someone's private property.
it does,
exactly.
it does.
which is what we're trying to figure out a balance for, because we understand that people are close by there, but we also realize that it is an access and it is actually city-owned property, so we'll have to see how that.
Yeah, we have a couple of locations where that's the situation. On Johnson Street here is another one that is complex, complicated situation because it's city-owned property, but there's private usage of that property.
Can you guys hear us okay?
Yep.
Okay, good. So the other,
Was there
thing
something
that,
else to address
so
here?
then we had, the kiosk map, and then, the wayfinding maps, just to let you know, I think I'm gonna scan this and throw it to Zach and say, this is what we came up with loops. He really liked the loop trail idea. And then, where we anticipate the kiosks, and, we also came up with, we had at least 8 signs in the grant, on post with names, and we named them, and it kind of came up to, I think, at least 8 signs perfectly. We thought one would, where it's just a sign that says, trail names and without a map. So we counted, there was one here, that's for people coming up here, so that they could see this is the cow pasture trail. So that was 1, and then we came along, and there was 2. It was gonna be service road, and then we didn't need one here because there's that. 3, sign for this trail. 4, a sign for here. Coming down 5. 6, 7, 8, and then 1 here. This is kind of a tricky spot because you're not gonna see that kiosk at this 4. So it was 9.
Did you count one at this junction?
I counted one at the,
Is
where
that
the
that? Is
S
that-
one.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Thanks for remembering where all those are.
It took me a minute to that. Yeah, so I don't know if it's redundant here or not with the map
It'll-
and the sign, but
I feel like the decision will kind of be based on how the trails develop in the future too. Because this is a spot that is probably gonna take some work to connect these trails a little smoother too in the future, so.
okay,
I'll make a motion, I can do that, right?
okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the trail names as described. And the placement of the wayfinding signs and the trail name posts.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I,
Anyone against? No, because that was everybody.
Can I ask, was there any, decision or the length of that trail, the new trail that's constructed, is there an issue with that? Because
I heard that
the
it's,
distance,
it's like only a quarter mile or something.
no, it's
3 times?
0.35,
Yeah,
0.35, yeah.
yeah, we heard
Which
that.
surprised the heck out of me.
It seems longer.
Yeah.
You wind your way through there
Yeah,
for a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, I didn't know if that was,
Yeah,
any implications
so-
regarding the grant or not.
the grant said, approximately 1 mile of trail. And I don't know how we could have fit any more trail in that space without just, making a bunch of trails that people would have cross-cut. I think he really swept
There was
the
a lot of
land
switchbacks.
as much as he could, and that's what kind of we came up
It's only
with.
0.35.
Yeah, no, that was my, because I thought it was like,
Three
oh, that's
times,
gotta be
right?
close to a mile. I had 2 GPS devices and I went out with both of them and I was like, no, this can't be right. But I turned around and went back the same way and it was the same thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah, technically, like Mark said, you could add on because he did an add-on, where he
Yeah.
change the fork
He's
there.
done work.
So I think that
Yeah,
that could
yeah.
be so I don't think that there's gonna be a problem.
Jeanette, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I have to leave pretty soon, but I'm worried that with Greg having left, that we don't have a quorum if I leave. Is that the case, or is there still a quorum?
I don't think there is.
1, 2,
Oh,
3, 4.
Just as a quick note, Robert's rules says you assume a quorum until someone officially challenges a quorum.
That's helpful.
Did Jeanette just officially challenge it?
Yeah, I don't know if that counts. I'm sorry, but just for future reference.
That's good to know.
That's super helpful. I can stay on too if it helps keep the business going, and then I'll just be late for my other thing. So
What I understand is if we're technically, Steve explained this, if there's 7 like, we're technically supposed to be a 7-member committee.
yeah,
And so it would only take 4 for the quorum, so 1, 2, 3, 4, according to what Steve told me.
Let's assume that's a quorum.
Yeah,
and
I don't count as a member for purposes of
Right.
quorum.
yes,
No, you don't.
right, you don't. So we have Susan, Jim, Mark, and Chris. Okay, so I'm okay to leave then?
Yes.
I apologize. There's
Okay.
No, we appreciate
Say
you
with
jumping
confidence.
in.
It's a quorum.
All right,
It's
Take care.
unanimous.
all right, have a good
Have a good
evening.
night.
Who's talking?
Oh,
Okay,
dispense.
Good stuff.
okay, so.
Sounds like it's your phone.
No.
Group management updates and decisions.
Are there old trails in here? I'm trying to remember what trail this is.
There, yeah, so that's what trail this is?
No, I'm trying to remember, there's like trails that go through all through the pines.
Well, this one goes through the pines right here.
Yeah.
Okay, you're familiar with that one, and, comes up just above this one here. There used.
Is this where the bench is, or is this where the
Yeah.
bench is?
This is where the bench is at the fork right
Yeah.
here.
Okay, yeah, and then there used to be a trail that came this way.
So, yeah, that's kind of a question, like, as we're looking at this, I guess it's ERSA grant updates and decisions. And included in that, I just wanted to point out that this I haven't highlighted any of the trails that are going off the map. So what's not gonna be on the map are any trails that lead to private land
Mhm.
and a lot of the discontinued trails. What we don't have here is, the little trail route, there's no name to it, that just goes into the meadow by the Martins Sugar Woods.
The Fernie area there.
Yeah,
it's
so,
all over.
Yeah, we kind of discussed that we could just put like a little sign there and maybe eventually just have a, and just call it the out, just say, just an arrow to the meadow. But we don't want to encourage people going to this trail that goes down a steep hill, but it jumps onto private property. So those trails that have been discontinued are not gonna be on the map any longer.
And we had discussed like having trailless areas within the county, it's a conservation area, right? And not appropriate to talk about the Snow Bee Trail main concept, but it's, recreation is not the primary purpose behind this area. This is a conservation area, so it's a natural area. So, I mean, that was another reason I didn't think that the Snow Bee Trail thing was appropriate, but I didn't want to go down that road. But anyway, so haven't we discussed, not because Zach had mentioned the possibility of building.
He did, and I think with the trail assessment that he has done, and we haven't shared it yet, because it was just, we had mentioned there was so many errors, and, we called it the Barre Town Cow Pasture, and, so there was a lot of typos in it and confusion, and he had named a bunch of trails that so we're working with Zach, and I feel bad that we haven't shared that yet, but he did in that draft trail assessment, propose a trail that went down here and through this area. And, I think we're gonna have to respect his trail assessment, and we can go with it or not go with some of his recommendations. But personally, I feel kind of strongly about leaving some open area,
Yes.
conservation land for the deer and
Right, well,
and not getting close to Route 14. But that's, it might come out in the trail. He'll likely want to retain it in the trail assessment, but we can take or leave whatever recommendations that
Yeah.
he has.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we, good to move on from the actual trail part of the Ursa update? I have
Yeah.
one other thing I can just update quick.
I'll just say one thing. So the plan is that I'll send this to Zach and say, this is, we're working on, he needs to change the whole boundary line of this map too, because we're now gonna include, thankfully, the city agreed to include all those, lots along the
Mhm.
paper street. And he has to include the Ford property,
Yeah.
and then he also has to make some line changes because we know that this is an error here. So, so we'll send this to him and then
That sounds
he can
good.
give us the maps
Yep.
and, hopefully, an update on the trail assessment.
Yep, and then the only other thing I wanted to mention was that I have been in touch with a company called Roadho, and they make tools. And I have placed an order for 7 new tools, a variety of trail building tools, from like basic hose to some hand rakes. They're like trail building / firefighter tools.
Yeah.
They're really nice tools.
Yeah, they are.
And I basically came right up to it was like about $20 over what I was allotted. I confirmed the order with them. I need to work with Janet at the city, is it Janet Shatney?
Mhm.
To pay for it. They sent me an invoice,
Okay,
but they're in queue to be made. There's two out of the 7 tools weren't available. So they're gonna custom make them for us. So it could be a couple of months before we get them. They'll all ship at once.
And
Yeah.
what are those tools gonna be?
I was afraid you asked that question.
yeah, that was part of the grant too. We put in for trail maintenance tools.
And they're gonna be at your place?
That was the initial plan, yeah.
And Jim already had, and it would be, I have at our house the puller, and I also have the shovel. So it would be nice to consolidate them all someplace. And hopefully they'll be there for,
Well, Chip's got a garage.
Trailways.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm about to spend $10,000 putting a new roof on it, so.
Yeah.
Ready to show you the tools. Got 2 of these.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, Amanda, you can't see that probably.
Shockingly, I can actually.
There you go.
oh, nice.
2 of these tools,
Oh,
40-inch
yeah.
curved hickory handles. These are great for cleaning out water bars and fixing drainage. 2 of those, kind of a
Pulaski.
rake, yep,
Or-
kind of a rake tool
Yep.
/ digging tool.
Yeah, those are very common in firefighting.
They are, yep. That is a good tool for removing roots and pulling, getting roots out of the trail wherever you're building trail and just kind of,
Or wait a minute,
Tear
the other one
things
was a
up.
McLeod, that's a Pulaski.
yeah, you're right.
That's, I was trying to come up with that.
Yeah, McLeod.
I got 1 of those and 2 of those. So I think there was I think the first one's a 7-inch wide hoe and this is a 5.5-inch wide. So these are basically the exact tools that Zach recommended to us as a sort of a starter kit for a trail maintenance group.
Is
I mean,
that a
it's-
pole or is it like just a flat blade? It looks like a flat
It's-
blade.
No, it's not.
Got a
It
curve.
comes in like this. So it's like
Okay.
a
Yeah.
pulling. type of tool.
Okay,
Yep.
that'll come
It's just a
handy on
picture.
the C8, right?
Yep.
As we-
And their pictures are pretty bad on their website, as you can see. But yeah, those are the
Nice.
7
Great.
tools.
Nice.
And he also, previously, we wanted to buy local as much as we could, and he went down to Ace Hardware and bought some hand saws. What else was there?
There's the extendable tree pruner, 2 pairs of loppers and a handsaw, which we had already used for that day when we did the invasive species
Is it a
removal.
folding handsaw?
Yeah. the 10-inch Fiskars, they're all Fiskars tools from
Okay.
from Nelson's.
Yeah, excellent job. And
Mhm.
so the monies that we go over budget will just come out of the
Yes.
Semper Bond monies.
Yep, and then there will be some projects that Zach is gonna recommend, and there's already projects we know that need to get done under the Ursa grant. And the plan is to put together a couple of trail days and use these tools and get that work done.
Great.
Should we update also at this point in time on, what we've been working on, the, request for an amendment as an update?
Yeah, do you wanna do that?
Yeah, so the grant, when we wrote that in 2021, we took from the management plan, there was a whole to-do list of recommended trail projects. And most of them had been done, but there was like 5 or 6 that were still dangling from that list from 2017, the management plan. So it was like 2016 when they were recommended. So we just copied and put those into the Ursa grant. And so right now we're drafting a letter, maybe to go through Janet probably, requesting an amendment to the grant due to change of circumstances. And let's see if I can remember them. There's like 4 of them. One of them, the easy one, is the S2 trail, in that there's a little fork on the other side of the stream that used to lead down to the Luntz property. And they recommended work on that trail, water bars. It goes right along the stream. But in the draft trail assessment, Zach recommended closing that trail now, because we now have the new trail that serves the area and leads to that area. So that's, we requested that we, not do the trail work on that project. The other one was more involved. It involved 2 points along the upper stream crossing by the Perrin property and the Pope property. The very steep grade where the water bars are challenging and it's slippery approaching the stream from both directions, and fixing the stepping stones in it. So since that time, the trail has been used even more than it ever has been, and it's really not in very good shape. And Zach, in his trail assessment, draft trail assessment, recommended a switch on one side of the stream, at least one switchback, and a more foot-friendly pathway to the stream. And then on the other side, he recommended switchbacks and 2 switchbacks. And then at the stream crossing, he recommended, either a pedestrian bridge or, some other thing. And then also a better trail down to the springs to highlight that, to make it more user friendly. So we're going to ask for an amendment based on this trail assessment. And we don't want to touch that trail and dig it up any more than at this point in time. So that was that area. And then there was one at the S1 trail where it enters. There's a steep section of what was the Bass Trail, the M3 trail, that's very deep and slippery, and it could use some work. What we could do there is limited because it is a vast trail. It's not like we could put steps or anything. But we justified not doing that work yet because the city now owns the Ford property. And that the S1 trail where it comes out, it's forked, and Zach, had recommended just a single trail
Pull it in, yeah.
to focus it in, and we might be able to approach, that M3 trail and that work at a different angle. So we're asking for justification not to do that.
Yeah.
Was there something else?
And the other one was the purchase of the property. When we initially applied for the grant, the asking price was $20,000. Then it took us 2.5 years to actually get the grant initiated because of some issues in the city separate from us. So it ended up costing $25,000. And there was $5,000 extra in the budget because this Barre City Public Works did the tree removal instead of us having to hire someone to do the tree removal along the access road from the cemetery.
Yeah.
So we were basically just gonna ask the state to ship that money from tree removal to the property purchase.
And I did approach the state and asked if we could do that. And you know, the assessed value was $35,000 on the property. And Mrs. Marilyn Ford recognized that we only had so much money in the budget. So I was eyeing that $5,000 for tree removal,
Mhm.
and it worked out really well. So we're gonna ask that we reallocate that money.
Which you had already talked to someone at the state and they said
I
that
did.
shouldn't be a problem.
As long as the work got done.
Yeah.
So we're asking, and I'll have to, I don't know, probably just go through Janet, but drafting a table now and requesting those, I think I mentioned, mentioned all of them.
For-
So that only leaves, 3 trail projects that we, the committee, have to end up doing.
Yeah.
So there's, and we think it's manageable with the trail days and maybe being more proactive in trying to get people to come and help, as long as you two can be the crew leaders. We can only handle as many people as, like you two who know what you're doing, can handle. But there's 3 projects left, and that, one of them is on the little switchback trail, C8 trail that goes along the sledding hill. It's that whole trail.
I could use some work, drainage.
Yeah, and better footing. And then there was, right before you get up to the bench on what we call them by their names now, the Wolf Trail, right when you get to the fork of the Wolf Trail and where it goes into the meadow. Below that, there's recommendations in
The water bars
twenty
are totally
seventeen
filled
for
in.
water bars.
Yeah.
And then there was a third project.
Um,
Oh, the side trail, the S3 trail
S3,
coming up from Johnson and Quinlan. That there's a few places that could
some new
use
drainage.
there.
So there's
So,
more water bars on that
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
It'd
So
be
it's
pretty
sounds
straightforward.
Yeah.
And we don't have to build trail, we just have to clean some things up
Yeah,
and.
yeah.
Those tools will be perfect for doing
Yeah.
that
yeah,
There's one of those switchbacks on that side trail going up,
by the sledding hill.
yeah,
Yeah.
that might,
Yeah, those are not great
Decent
switchbacks. They're really
Yeah.
steep
yeah,
switchbacks.
exactly, really, really tight,
Mhm.
yeah.
and I wonder if in the future we could, you know, and people just keep cutting them.
Right.
Keep putting brush in there every
Yeah.
time I go up there and
Camouflaging.
hauling.
Can always use more
logs in there.
camouflaging.
But maybe at some point in time. So with what we're going to propose to the state is that we won't do them now, you know, with this grant, but we will apply for a state recreation trails grant to have those projects done and, other recommendation, probably maintenance or something. So we're gonna be in line for applying for a recreation trails grant, which we've gotten at least one of those before, Amanda. I think another one was Clean and Clear, but I think there's like 4 grants that we've gotten, but at least one recreation trails grant.
All right, well, it's a little past 6:30 and we have at least three more items on the agenda. The next there's 2 advisory groups updates. It sounds like I already stole Mark's, the conservation and access update. But if you wanna, Just mention.
I'll just say that there's not been any new information, since our last meeting. We're still waiting for the city to get back to us on the approval of the language for the agreement, with the landowner, for, public use on S3, or
Right.
what is that? The
Ridgeline?
Ridgeline,
Ridgeline,
Yeah.
Ridgeline.
it's so much easier to remember those kind of names.
Yeah, it is, it really is.
Letter number things.
Yeah, so, and, you know, I mean, it's within the time frame that we were told, you know, it'd be sometime at the beginning of the year that we would, you know, because there's
Yeah.
so much other things going on.
And I do wanna, make note that Mark has been up there and cutting a lot of the trees and clearing the trails. He's done so much work up there. I
Thanks,
don't
Mark.
know if you've noticed some of the trees, but I just wanna acknowledge.
Except that real big one up on the that,
Is it still there?
yeah, it's still
Okay,
there. Yeah, nature will take its course ultimately,
but
but
in the meantime, people will switch back it. So Amanda, this has been something that we've talked about, getting the city a little bit of ownership on the property. And wondering, how, we might want to approach that coming up, because there are some bigger trees and, just for safety, having volunteers going and removing those trees, I think when some of them come down, there was like 3 huge ones that came down right at the entrance, and Steve McKenzie went up there and cut them all up and was gonna chip them all up, but I think there's a point in time where some of this work, we shouldn't be depending on volunteers, and asking the city to go up and clear those. So I
It
don't
seems
want,
like they're pretty willing. I mean, even though the work
Yeah.
for the road improvement was an in-kind thing, I think they would have done it either way. They
yeah,
are probably
Yeah.
pretty happy to be like, oh, we can go cut the trees down with a chainsaw, let's go.
yeah, exactly.
yeah, the city.
More
has-
fun than potholes for sure. It sounds like there's
Yeah.
good, as Jim was saying, it sounds like there's good precedent for this already. And I think this is definitely something I'm assuming more of like a springtime activity, but could
Yep.
certainly walk now and ID the trees.
It's true.
Yeah, city has been great. They jumped in and replaced that gate and did the road. They've been great.
All right, is that it for conservation and access
That's
update?
it.
All right.
And probably, just to make note that, a good topic for your advisory group would be to get your head around like how to, because the signs will probably be going up and this year, and we should be having a plan of action to notify the owners on either side of the paper street. And, just to tactfully approach
Right.
and,
Especially the one going up Crow Trail.
Yeah,
exactly, that's the one.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we want to talk to the people that live there, or if there's actually, like landlords or people that own the
I
property.
would
that
talk to the
live there.
property owner. I'm happy to find
Yeah.
out, get
Okay.
that information
parcel
and
info.
initiate
So
that.
maybe for the next meeting, you can like
Yeah.
come up with a plan of action on that. Do you know where we're talking about, Amanda?
Yes. Yep. I remember both the map and I've hiked it.
Okay, invasive plant.
Anything for invasive plant control updates?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
What do you got?
Well, our big pile of buckthorn is squishing down quite nicely and it's under a tarp. It's drying out. We were told we could burn it when there's snow on the ground, and there is snow on the ground. I have a little fee waiver officially from the fire chief, and when we want to get a burn permit, that we
Nice.
won't be charged. I'd like to propose that we do it on February 1st, which is a Saturday. It's also a Celtic / pagan holiday called Imbolc. And a fire, it's the return of light, and a fire is a very appropriate celebration to have that day. Or we could, if we have to have a rain day or snow day, it could be the next day. Maybe something like 3 to 5.
We do that, or I think it's gonna take, the chance of it taking longer than 2 hours would be more, I would just wonder if we could have it earlier in the day.
I should hedge the bets a little.
Yeah, cause, yeah.
Meaning
I-
that it won't be burned out.
It might
and
not, you
die.
never know, I
Depends
just,
on how much gasoline you use.
yeah, well, mixed gasoline and kerosene, yeah, some accelerant, right? But when I used to, drip torch fuel, it was
Yeah.
gasoline and kerosene,
Yeah.
and that's, how you set fires. I burned thousands of acres, so. So, yeah,
Well, getting it started usually is the whole
right,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't wanna use straight gasoline.
No, it's
But,
too flammable.
yeah, well, you'll blow it up, but I just think that it. Are we just burning the one pile there?
That one
Yeah,
pile, yeah.
Yeah,
And the size limit on the fire is 4 feet around and 3 feet high, so
Okay.
we,
That
We can
pile's,
make a-
that pile's bigger than that.
So what I wanted, what I'm saying, okay, so just from a safety perspective.
Yeah.
and, You know, using your new tools, do we have them
I
yet?
don't think we'll
No, it's
have
gonna
them
be a
in
couple months.
time.
All right.
I
You
know,
definitely wanna, you know, put a line around the area so that, you know, that, of course, it's covered in snow. I've
you're
never.
showing more concern than they did.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, what's the problem, man? Oh, imagine it and go, yeah. All right, well,
It's like,
maybe this isn't the time to have this conversation.
yeah.
I'll step away from the, you know, former firefighter, you know, way to do things and. I don't know. There are ways that I would do it, but
We have the
Well-
cow pasture shovel, and I have shovels, so we could bring shovels.
Shovels
Yeah,
and
yeah,
rakes, I think.
and there is snow. I mean, I've never done a burn pile when there is snow, so that's a big, you know.
Yeah, it won't
a
go.
different
It
thing.
won't
It's
go
not gonna go anywhere, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm out of town.
Oh, darn.
I'm leaving on the 1st through the 5th or 6th, but it's okay. I don't think you need a quorum.
Right, it's advisory committee, but we would have enough. Are you available? You sound like a
I
good
think so,
fire starter.
yeah,
Put her out or.
yeah, both, but you know, yeah. Yeah,
All right.
So do we want to make a motion to?
Oh, can I make that motion or does?
Sure. Yeah.
So I'd like to move that, we have Bernard Buckthorn Day, February 1st. Should we start as early as what, 1:30?
sure, yeah, that sounds good.
30? Until burnt.
I'll second that. All in favor?
I,
All right.
Unanimous.
Wow, thanks. I love
If
that
the
idea.
snow is gone, we will have to reschedule.
So, do you feel like we need to do any social media or, let people know about that this is gonna happen?
We can, but what do we feel about actually inviting people? You know, does that turn into
An invite,
an invite and then that turns into
yeah,
potentially something else?
Yeah.
so if people come, we'll just explain, but I don't know if somebody saw like a fire, so you're gonna notify the fire department, so if someone calls and says there's a fire, they'll know.
Mhm.
yeah,
I think that's a good approach.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, excellent, thank you for that initiative, Susan, we made a huge dent in the buckthorn.
Mhm.
So that covers the advisory group's updates. The next on the agenda is a city council request, appearance committee charge, which I believe Chris set up for January 28th.
Yeah. Yeah, if anyone would like to join me, so, I sent,
Are you going in person, I assume?
I think I will,
Yeah.
yeah.
I will try to join you. I can't guarantee that I can,
Yeah.
but I'll plan to try to get that done.
And there was discussion that we should,
On my
point,
calendar.
we weren't asked for an annual report last year, I'm pretty sure that. But I think, I don't know, Nicholas said it would be appropriate for us to take that opportunity to point the council to our, website page that has, the management plan and, the documents that we have. And our committee expectation, document and those kinds of things. Is there anything else that,
Do you have sort of a list of things that we have done recently that are actions suggested by the management planner,
that would,
showing that we're on course? Not only do we have a plan,
yeah,
that we follow it.
I'll spend some time because the annual report and, I suggested that Nicholas, because they seemed like they could go into a black hole when we were being asked for them. And there was some, and I've done one every year ever since we've been a committee. And last year, I'm like 99.9% sure that we weren't asked for one. So, I suggested that this year when we send it in, and then I'll go through the minutes and highlight everything that we've done, how many volunteers came out and whatnot. So I'll start that annual report, and then it'll help me highlight, the Ursa grant, I think maybe is probably a big one to highlight, because there's new council members.
If this is helpful at all, the Police Advisory Committee presented their charge at the last meeting, and it got praise from council for being a sort of good template and good succinct presentation of the work that they have done. So that may be useful to look at for as you're prepping.
So would that be posted with the minutes from
Yeah,
that
they posted
meeting?
videos.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's in it will be in the what's called the packet, the agenda and extra documents from the meeting that was just this past Tuesday, January 14th, which will be on the city website under the city council. So that might be a useful point. And I think all of the additional information that you're considering would be phenomenal for council to have. You might put it all in one document with links out to it. So there's not a lot within the packet itself. That may be a good way to sort of summarize for people who want to read extra.
okay, yeah, I think what I did submit was just something really brief, and told Nicholas that he could, share this and put it in the packet for the council meeting, but maybe I should ask him to pull it, because basically all it has is a committee mission statement and the vision statement.
That's what he was asking for at that time.
That's what he was
right?
asking for.
That's
so-
basically all that he needs. I'm sorry. I was just suggesting that one because I know that we've had discussions at council in the past about other charges that have been submitted, and the one that was submitted on Tuesday, a couple of people said they thought was a good way for it to.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea to also send, I think we have time before January 28th to do something a little bit more, so they have it in writing and can see it before the meeting.
Great, is that all set?
Yep.
All right, there's a couple more things here. We have Green Up Day and National Trails Day on the agenda. Green Up Day is Saturday, May 3rd, and National Trails Day is Saturday, June 7th. Do you have anything you wanted to mention about that?
I think that I would like the next meeting to have, a discussion on what we would want to do. Last year, we did invasive pull-up. We talked about there being a conflict with other people doing green up activities.
Yeah, I have a conflict also because the River Access Group usually does something that day too.
Yeah. So, maybe we don't, I don't think there's much trash on the property, but maybe have that discussion, be prepared to have that next week on National Trails Day, about getting, recruits, or maybe we just do, it's good to keep the invasive stuff going, but maybe just do it on a different day.
Were we gonna have some kind of a grand opening of the new trail on National Trails Day, or?
I don't know if we're ready for that, do you think? Well, we could talk about that, but that's.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
It really
I
is a
think
good idea.
It'd be nice to do something. I don't know if we want to wait until everything was done, but that's probably gonna not be until next fall, so.
Yeah, I think that's really a good
Mhm.
trail, a good idea.
I also will look into, I'll talk to you, but it would be good to maybe schedule 1 or 2 just trail days to get people out and maybe try to recruit a few volunteers, put those tools to use and get those items from the Ursa grant checked off. I'm probably not gonna be in town for National Trails Day. It's my birthday weekend. Unfortunately.
Okay, so, a discussion for next
Yep.
meeting.
You're having too much fun, Jim.
Am I?
Well, it seems like it.
Why, 'cause I'm going to Florida?
Oh.
That doesn't count.
Oh, Florida. Is that family?
That's where I'm going February 1st. Yeah, my family's down there.
Yeah.
You guys make the most of going
We do.
there.
We
You've found some cool
try to
things
find
to do.
nature.
Yeah.
Get away from
It's
the
hard.
Golf carts and the pickleball court.
Get down to the Everglades at all?
I have.
Yeah, that's
Past,
awesome
yeah,
down
it
there,
is.
yeah.
Committee membership and member recruitment update.
That might be
Is
why
Is that why you're
Carrie's
here?
Yep,
I might have been recruited.
Ah,
Who recruited you?
Susan.
yeah, I
Oh,
asked.
you're just like, oh, wow, cool. Do you have any
So,
questions
It
or?
seems to me that you must have just read the suggestion that if you're interested to come to a meeting, and here you are, yeah. Is there, how? How can we help you?
Well, I'd be interested to know more about where I could plug myself in.
Where are your interests? What are you interested in?
Specifically, there are indigenous structures up there. I believe there are, particularly the stone walls up there. I went on a tour of Gunjiwamp in Groton, Connecticut with a naturalist to see the chambers there. And when I was there, I realized that the walls that are up in the pastures are the same as the walls in Gunjiwamp. They are what they call lacework walls. So you'll notice that they're like long slabs of rock, just little rocks underneath. You can see through them really well. They're not just piles of stone. And that's a hallmark of an indigenous wall. So, and I do, knowing that those walls are there, I wonder what other structures up there might be of native origin. I mean, there's the big well that's there, and there's the two little ones right next to it. So, you guys must be familiar with the two little wells that are near the big main one.
I know there's some spring boxes
Yeah.
along the stream up in the Heron property, but those are like not wells.
I'm not aware of them. I know the stone surrounded one.
There's the stone surrounded one, and there's two other smaller stone surrounded ones up the stream. I mean, I know those are the spring boxes you're talking about.
Oh, they up, like, if you actually follow the stream uphill,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I
I
haven't.
think that was when the parents were like, had their cows up in that area. They're like spring boxes.
I've never
Those
explored
were-
up there.
Yeah, I think that those were built for when the land was grazed.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to update the committee's expectation list and that, and come up, we have as a committee discussed some of our needs, you know, as far as what would be useful for the committee. We had a committee member who, Tim Ripensky, who did the social media, you know, and that was a great niche. And we've been, what were some of the other ones that we came up with? Like somebody, like an educator with, like, that would do, coordinate walks and, you know, educational events.
Tim did graphic design stuff too.
Yeah. Graphic design. There was some other, like, I'll have to look back on the minutes, but there was some, I would love somebody to be doing, you know, I guess I'm okay doing this. I guess I'm the secretary because I've been doing the minutes. But I'm gonna redo that for the next committee meeting for, like, review and approval. So you can look at that list, and I'll go back on our minutes and see if I could find what other ideas that we
I'm trying to
had, that
remember.
we were like looking for specific skill sets. And of course, trail, you know, work.
Your conversation just reminded me that Ken Benton approached me about doing historic use and natural areas walk in the cow pasture this
Okay.
spring. So we haven't set a date, but
So maybe you can like report on that
Yeah,
for next
yeah.
time too. So yeah, we've had, and I've been doing it in the past, trying to, and I've done it haphazardly, getting like Ken Benton to do a bird walk. But it would be really nice to have a person that would go out and grab and engage community members or naturalists to do walks, to try to get more people into the cow pasture.
Yeah.
So it would be great to have somebody that was their focus. Susan has been working on the invasives. So there are two advisory groups. And Mark is on the conservation and access, and he has two members on that group that are not committee members, but they're community groups, and Susan's all by herself now.
Yeah, Tim was
It's
with
sad.
you before, right?
Yeah.
So if you had an interest in, like invasives.
I mean, I could always pull up weeds.
What's that?
I could always pull up buckthorn.
So, yeah, so those,
Burning bush and
Yeah.
Yeah.
maple hammer, whatever it's called. There's all sorts of stuff up there to pull up.
so, and we, so also, in the past, we just asked that, committee, people interested in the committee, know the lay of the land, and it sounds like you do, and understand, kind of what we've accomplished so far, that we have a management plan. Some people have come in and have wanted to do something that's really not appropriate for the land, and, so, we want people to be familiar with the management plan was drafted in 2017, and it's on the city website, just
Yeah,
to know.
someone emailed that to me. And it was a while ago, and I could go back and read it.
Mhm.
It's available online too. You just
Yeah.
search Barre Cow Pasture, it'll take you to the city website that has all of the different documents.
Yeah.
We meet every other month, so if you're interested in coming back to the next meeting. That'll be great.
Alrighty.
And in the summertime, we hope to be able to meet on site. I guess that is allowed.
Meet in person at the cow pasture when the weather's cooperating.
And you're welcome at the buckthorn burn.
Yes.
Where will that be?
It's
February 1st.
February 1st.
Did
you say
where?
Yeah, where?
Oh,
Where's the map?
Have you walked up there recently?
In the pastures?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen there's a tarp?
I haven't seen the tarp.
Okay. so
It's
Yeah.
under snow now.
yeah.
That's true.
And the tarp is camouflage, which is.
Oh, I got the tarp fine.
Oh, good.
As you come in the main entrance and you're walking down the main trail, it's up in this area. I
Okay.
don't know if you
It's
can
really
understand
close to that Y, isn't it? Where
that.
it
It's, yeah,
or
up in that
this one.
meadow area,
Mhm.
yeah.
almost
edge
to
of
the
that.
other trail, yeah.
Up the hill from the well.
What's that?
I said up the hill from the well.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you come
Yeah.
from on that other
Yeah.
trail,
So
yeah.
it's hard to describe where to.
Yeah.
A particular point.
Yeah.
Great. Next thing is to adjourn. Does anyone have anything else? No. Make a motion to adjourn.
I second it. Oh, you can second it. Go ahead.
Okay, I can. Good.
Yeah.
I second that.
Do we have to be in favor of that, or do we just do it?
I'm in favor of it.
All right,
Yeah.
me too. All right.
All opposed?
Nope. 6:59.
Look at that,
6:59.
6:59.
And
Well, good
that's
job,
even
Jim.
with
You-
all the
you've got the
full of
job. You've
belief.
done such a good job
I need to
on
read
this.
Robert's Rules of Order. Thanks, Amanda.
Do you have any
Thanks all.
questions?
Have a
Do
good
you have
night.
anything? Do you have any questions or?
Me? No,
Yeah.
I'm just sorry I couldn't be there. My mother had surgery the other day, so I'm down in Massachusetts supporting her for that, but I look forward to being in person at the next one.
Oh, great.
Cool.
Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you. Now I have to figure out how to shut this thing down.
Thank you for being that person that had to go through all that stressful stuff with